What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Gameball with your host, Matson Montilla. Today, we're talking about the conference championship matchups. The Detroit Lions playing against the San Francisco 49ers, and the Kansas City Chiefs playing against the Baltimore Ravens. And my job is to tell you who is going to the Super Bowl. So the first matchup is the Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens. MVP quarterbacks, all-star defenses, extraordinary coaches. It's power against power, elite against elite. And I could see this game going both ways. If you told me Baltimore would win, I'd agree. If you told me Kansas City would win, I would agree. But to a slightly higher extent. The age-old adage says that offense wins games, defenses wins championships. And that adage has proven true. The teams that win have the best defenses. The Los Angeles Rams in 2021, the New York Giants when they beat the Patriots twice. There's a lot of examples of it. But in this matchup, the question is, yeah, defenses win championships, but what offense can win a game? Because both defenses are so good, it's going to be which offense can catch a break and find a few touchdowns, a few points against these vicious defenses. And my answer ultimately is Kansas City. Look, I understand Lamar's an MVP. And I love Lamar just as much as the next man. He deserved it. He was my preseason pick to win MVP. I think he's that talented. But the issue is I don't think he has the players around him to go out there and succeed against this Kansas City Chiefs defense that has the best defender in the game, Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Nick Bolton, Justin Reed. They have dudes on that team. And Lamar, he's explosive. He can make things work on his own. We've seen it all year. We've seen it his whole career. Like, he can make magic happen. But in this game, you need a little bit more than magic. You need some help. And so I look at his supporting cast. Zay Flowers, a young, talented rookie. I do. But is he the best skill? Not necessarily. I think he can be, but not this year necessarily. Odell, Isaiah Likely, talented players. I loved him. I loved Odell at the Giants. I still do. Likely, I liked him out of Coastal Carolina, and he's putting on a show. Dalvin Cook at running back has a chance to, in a sense, resurrect his career. But I don't think these guys are the players you can put around Lamar to go out there and catch a few more breaks in Kansas City. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. And then you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They have Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback we've seen in a long time. He's been the top quarterback in the NFL for the past 5 years. They have Travis Kelce. He had his blunders in the regular season, but he's become a lot better and progressed as the playoffs got longer. He's been having some big-time performances. Rashee Rice, doing everything right. Andy Reid, the best offensive mind in all of football. Isaiah Pacheco, a durable, proven running back. Like, I understand Dalvin Cook's good, and he could have a big game, but he's not proven this season. Pacheco is. He's charting those legs. And based off of that, even though they are going against the likes of Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Kyle Van Noy, Jadeveon Clowney, I think the Chiefs will have more breaks and score more than the Baltimore Ravens. Ultimately saying the Chiefs will win this game because I understand defenses win championships, but this is where the age-old adage has to flip and realize that you need an offense to win games. And that's what the Chiefs have. They have offense that can win games. They have a supporting cast around Mahomes that can help him perform better than what Lamar can. Because at the end of the day, when you're in the AFC Championship, you can't do it all by yourself. And that's what Lamar's been doing all season. props to him. That's why he's MVP. That's why he's such a good quarterback. But his supporting cast is too young, too old, and not good enough to go out there and help them catch a few more breaks against the Chiefs' extraordinary defense. So that's why I have Kansas City going to Baltimore and having Patrick Mahomes finally, yet again, beat the world. Because just like the New England Patriots, everyone's hoping they lose. But unfortunately, for everybody, they're like the New England Patriots because they're just going to keep winning. So the next matchup I want to look at is the Detroit Lions facing off against the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of cool storylines. Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Detroit versus everybody. Can the Lions go to the Super Bowl for the first time in their entire existence? And my response to this is that I don't think Brock Purdy is going to be able to separate himself from being known as not a great quarterback. And I also don't think Detroit will make it to the Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is 49ers will win. And it's not going to be despite Purdy. It's going to be with Purdy. But it's not going to be him making Mahomes likes, Josh Allen like, Lamar like plays. So the reason why I believe San Francisco will go out there and win this game is because their offense is just so high-powered. Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, the best running back in the league. Then you have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, a top 10 wide receiver duo at the minimum in the NFL. George Kittle, a great tight end. Trent Williams, a strong offensive lineman who just really carries his whole offensive line, elevates him to another game, like another level, and makes him be so vicious in both pass blocking and run blocking. You mix that type of offense with a Detroit Lions defense that struggles in the secondary, and you're in for a long day. Because it's going to make Detroit have to play balanced, right? If you can't load everyone in the box, then C-Mac will have success. But by loading everybody in the box, then the San Francisco 49ers offense, like passing game, is going to torch Detroit. But then the other thing is if you take people out of the box and you play a balanced line, and you have some extra players shot back and the secondary to help limit the passing game, then C-Mac will just torch Detroit. C-Mac's going to go and he's going to torch them running the ball. So either way, it's a lose-lose scenario for Detroit because they have a struggling secondary and it's going to allow San Francisco to exploit that. Especially, too, when you have a coach like Kyle Shanahan that just knows how to play smart football. It's gonna hurt Detroit. And then defensively, I think Detroit, or I guess for San Francisco, offensively for Detroit, I think Detroit can have some success. I like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, best 1-2 punch in football. That's really exciting right there. And Amon-Ra is very talented. J-Mo had a big game against Tampa Bay. He had a couple of big plays. Laporta's playing well. But this 49ers defense is just so well versed that they might have a few hiccups here and there because when you're playing an offense like that, it happens. But ultimately, they're going to be able to shut down and limit this Detroit offense. And if it was a sprint, I would have the 49ers winning by 3 to 7 points, and that means in the first quarter if it was a sprint. But this game's a marathon. There's 4 quarters, 60 minutes. I think San Francisco wins by at least double digits against Detroit because they're just that well-versed and that talented. So as I mentioned, I think San Francisco's going to win because they're so well-balanced. They have so much talent. And this talent and this depth they have on their team is ultimately going to help them win by, I sense, double digits. And just continually separate themselves from Detroit. But if you were to ask Matson, how does Detroit go out there and win this game? I have three things to tell you how Detroit wins this game. The first one is control the lines, right? Offensive line, defensive line. We know that Detroit has such a great running back duo in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And if your offensive line can hold up strong against San Francisco's D-line and allow for these running backs to make plays and to have successful plays and be consistent, first off, that's going to lead to just a good run game, potential scoring opportunities from that alone, but then it opens up the whole offense, right? I think the 49ers secondary has great players and they can man up against the likes of Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams. But at the end of the day, if you're playing man and you can't have extra help in the secondary, when you're playing against those talented players like Amon-Ra, Jared Goff, you're going to be able to generate points and production. That's the first thing about controlling the line. It will open up the running game will obviously have success in that sense, but it'll open up the passing game. Vice versa, if you control the line, if Detroit is able to not have to stack the box and just play regular defense and not have to bring extra players in to try and limit C-Mac and just have your D-line limit him, then that's going to allow you to then drop back players in your secondary, right? And limit the San Francisco's passing game because they're going to need help in the secondary. And if you can stop Christian McCaffrey with just your regular front and then drop back players in the passing game, that's going to be hard for Brock Purdy to go against. And again, going back to why 49ers winning, I don't think Detroit is going to be able to do this. I don't think they can just stop C-Mac. But if they do, that's going to help them propel themselves. So control the lines. The second thing I'd say is play your brand of football. San Francisco does it, right? They play slow, in control. They're focused. They know what they have to do to win. If you're Detroit, don't mold your game to what San Francisco's doing. If they're just running the ball and they're going 10-yard, 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 6-minute, 7-minute drives, that doesn't mean go out there and play 10-yard, 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 6-7-minute drives. No, play your brand of football. Detroit likes to be risky. They like to have fun. They have innovative plays. And it's controlled risk because it's not going to necessarily hurt them, but it does work very well. And don't be afraid to have a few trick plays up your sleeve, or that's bringing in Dan Skipper to pass him the ball, or running a flea flicker, or whatever it is. Play your brand of football. It's gotten you this far. Play your brand. Have fun. And the third way Detroit will win this game, or could win this game, is don't let plays affect you. San Francisco, they're due to have a big play. Even if you control C-Mac and you drop back the secondary and you do all you can to limit this team, the 49ers are so well-versed, right? They're so well-versed to have big plays because they have such talented players. If you give up a 60-yard run or a 40-yard touchdown, if you're on defense, forget about the play and play your brand of just play. Play football still. Forget about it. Flush it. If you're on offense, don't think, oh gosh, we got to score fast. No. If you want to score fast, go for it, but play your brand. Don't let how San Francisco performs and how maybe they have explosive play here or there, don't let it affect how you play. Just play your brand. So Detroit wins this game if they control the lines and if they play their brand of football, which is taking a risk here, taking a risk there, and also having a short-term memory. Forgetting about if they let up a big play, forgetting about it. Goff throws an interception, forget about it. Just be one with yourself and just focus on the end goal, which is being who you are, Detroit playing how they are, and not letting other external factors, or internal, I guess you could say, if they let a big play up, don't let those factors affect how you play football. But at the end of the day, I got Kansas City winning this game against Baltimore because Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice and Pacheco are going to have more success against the Ravens defense than Lamar Jackson, Zay, and Odell can have against the Chiefs defense. Age-old adage says offense wins games, defense wins championships. Well, this is where an offense better win a game because both defenses can win championships. So it's a matter of what offense can catch a break against these defenses. And at the end of the day, I like Lamar. He's MVP for a reason. He was my preseason pick to win MVP for a reason. But my issue is I don't think he has the players around him, right, to go out there and have production because he can't do it all by himself. He's done it all the way up to this point, but it's a AFC championship. You can't win it all by yourself. I don't think Odell, Zay Flowers, Dalvin Cook, Isaiah Likely, I like them. I liked them out of college, but they're not they're either too young or too old to be able to go out there and provide the needed boost to help the Ravens catch a few breaks and help Lamar Jackson. You look at Kansas City, yeah, they're playing against a better defense in Baltimore. Marlon Humphrey's there, Geno Stone, Kyle Hamilton, Justin Madubuike, Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith. But Mahomes, first of all, best quarterback we've seen for the past 5 years. They have the best offensive-minded coach in football. They have Travis Kelce, who didn't do too well in the regular season, but as the playoffs progress, he's become better and better and better, and he's always going to be an X factor. Rashee Rice has been great, and you have Isaiah Pacheco to allow you to have somewhat of a balanced offensive scheme. And by having those talented players around Mahomes, it's going to propel the Chiefs to have more scoring opportunities and converting on them than the Ravens will have offensively, ultimately propelling the Chiefs to a victory over the Baltimore Ravens. San Francisco, I have them beating Detroit. Why? They're just elite. Everywhere you look, they're elite. And the one area of weakness for Detroit is their secondary. And due to that, it's going to help this 49ers offense fire on all cylinders, because no matter who C-Mac is going against, whether it's the best rush defense in the world or the worst, he's going to have a ton of success. Now, when it comes to passing, if Purdy's going against a scarier secondary, then he might not fare well, but you're going against not a solid secondary. So when you have Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle around him, it's going to allow Purdy to perform well and have this 49ers offense go just fire on all cylinders. And then defensively, the 49ers defense, I think they're going to be able to shut down and limit Detroit's offense. Detroit's due for a few scores, a few big plays when you have players like Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra. Jameson Williams had a big game last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But ultimately, San Francisco is going to be able to shut this team down and end this fairy tale story and make Detroit add another year to their long existence of never making it to the Super Bowl. And that's why I have San Francisco going out there and winning, and not only just winning, but winning by at least 10 points. I think they're going to be able to handily beat the Detroit Lions. So, tune in for a rematch of the Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers on February 11th. Thank you guys for watching this episode, and I look forward to you guys coming back. Have a great day, a great week, and a great year.